Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about sequences, okay? So our lesson today is about sequences. We're talking about sequence in which we are adding the same number each time. I'm going to give you an example and I'm going to ask you some question about this example to learn how to deal with sequences, okay? If I wrote a question like this one, okay, this is 3, 7, 11, okay, 15, and so on. In this sequence, we are adding the same number each time. He's gonna ask me some questions about this sequence, and they're going to learn how to deal with these questions. First, we have something is called term to term rule. Okay, what do we mean by term to term rule? Term to term rule, in this sequence, we are adding 4 each time. So if you have a term and you want to move to the next term or to get the next term, you just add 4. So the term to term rule for this sequence is add 4. What if he is asking me to get the next 2 terms in this sequence? This would be very easy. This is 15. Okay, so the next term, we just use this rule, term to term rule. So the next term is going to be 19. And if I want to get the term after it, it's going to be 23. Now we're going to move to a very important point. We're going to talk about something is called nth rule. What do we use this rule for? Okay, we use it to get a term just by knowing its position. This is why they sometimes call it position to term rule. So we can call it position to term rule. We can call it nth rule. Okay, we can also call it nth term expression. How to get the nth rule or the position to term rule or the nth term expression for the sequence. First, you're going to write n, okay? N here stands for the order of the term. So if you're talking about the first term, so n equals 1. If you're talking about the second term, so n equals 2, and so on. So n here stands for what? We denote the word or the statement order of term. We abbreviate it with n. We use n to stand for the order of the term. Okay? In the sequence, we are adding 4 each time. So before n here, you are going to write 4. So it's 4n, and 4n means 4 multiplied by n. And then we want to know how to continue this rule or how to get this rule. You will ask yourself if there is a number before 3. If there is a number before 3 here in this sequence, you will know that 3 is the first term in this sequence. So I'm asking you if there is a term, there is no term here before 3, but this is a virtual question. If there is a term before 3, this term is going to be what? It's going to be negative 1. It's going to be what? Negative 1. Because it's negative, we are going to put minus here. And because it's negative 1, so I'm going to... So from where did we get this number 4? It's 4 because we are adding 4 each time here. Okay? And from where we get this number? Negative 1. We get it from where? We get it because if there is a term before 3, this term is going to be negative 1. So it's 4n minus 1. This is the nth rule. This is the position to term rule for this sequence. This is the nth term expression for this sequence. Why it's very important to know the nth term or the position to term rule? It's very important because using this rule you can get the term just by knowing its position. For example, if I want to get the 100th term in this sequence, it's very easy. You're going to use this rule, the nth rule. In this question, we are going to substitute n with 100. Okay, so instead of n, it's 4n, it means 4 times n, but we're not going to write n because now I want to get what? The 100th term. So what is the 100th term in this sequence? We're going to substitute n with 4, so it's 4 times 100, okay, and then we subtract it minus 1. 4 times 100 equals 400, and 400 minus 1 equals 399. Okay, so if I get the 100th term in this sequence, it's going to be what? 399. This is why, so I don't want to get all, I don't need to get all the terms before the 100th term to get the 100th term. I can just get it by only using this rule, the nth rule, or the possession to term rule. Let's have another example here. Okay, I'm going to write another example. If you didn't get it from the first one, I want you to pay attention for this one. Okay, if the sequence moves like this, the first term is 9, and then it's 12, and then it's 15, and then 18, and so on. It's very easy to get the term to term rule for this sequence. The term to term rule is, yes, I know that you are saying it, it's at 3. So it's at 3 because we are adding 3 each time. So just write at 3, and don't say that it's we are at, don't explain it. Just write the verb, add, the operation that you are making here, and beside it the number that we are adding each time. So the term to term rule is add 3. And if I asked you to get the next two terms in this sequence, you can easily get them by making 18 plus 3 equals 21, 21 plus 3 equals 24. Now let's move to the important point, how to get the nth rule for this sequence. You just write n at the beginning. And yes, n here stands for the order of the term. And you're going to ask yourself, what is the number that we are adding each time here? It's a 3. So I'm going to write 3n. Okay? And you are going to ask yourself, if there is a number before 9 in this sequence, let's make it like this. If there is a number before 9 in this sequence, it's going to be what? Yes, while moving this way, we are adding 3. So if you want to get the number before 9, we're going to subtract 3. So I think it's going to be 6. 6 here is a positive number, and because it's a positive number, so you have to write what here? Plus. So if it's negative, I write here minus. If it's positive, I write here plus. So it's a 3n plus, yes, it's plus 6. So it's a 3n plus 6. This is the possession to term rule for this sequence. This is the nth rule for this sequence. This is the nth term expression for this sequence. It's very important because using this rule, I can get any term. For example, if I'm asking you to get the 1003rd term in this sequence, how to get the term 1003rd in this sequence? Yes, this is very far. It will be very difficult to get it without using this rule, but using the nth rule here, it will be very easy. The nth rule is 3n plus 6. 3n, it means 3 times n, but instead of n here, we are going to replace it and write what instead of it? Yes, 1003, because I want to get the 1003rd term, and then I'm going to add 6. 3 times 1003, yes, 3 times 3 equals 9, 2 zeros, and 3 times 1 equals 3, so it's 3009. 3009, I'm going to add 6 to it, so it's going to be 3015. So this was our lesson about the nth term, or about the nth rule, or the possession to term rule if we have a sequence, how to get the nth rule for it, and how to use this rule to get a certain term just by knowing its possession. I hope you understood it. Thank you.